Public lands are important to Western ranchers, especially in states like Montana. And speaking of big sky country, that's where NCBA President-elect Bill Donald hails from. Bill, thanks for coming back to the show.
Good to be here, Kevin.
You bet. Tell us a little bit about public lands. That's a foreign concept to a lot of people across the country, but one that's critically important to folks like yourself.
Well, yeah, in Montana we have about 94 million acres, and about 30% of that is public land, about 27 million acres. Most of that is Forest Service. There's about 60.5 million acres of Forest Service, about 8 million acres of BLM, and then 2.5 million of national parks and others. And with that, there are permittees that graze on most of those lands, and there's about 4,000 BLM permittees in Montana and about 1,000 Forest Service. So it's a big issue for ranchers.
Absolutely. And speaking of big issues, we've been talking about the sage-grouse, and I know that's something that NCBA, one of the issues that NCBA works hard on every day for cattlemen across the country. Give us your perspective.
Well, recently the Fish and Wildlife Service made a ruling on the sage-grouse, and they ruled that the sage-grouse was in need of protection, but they were precluded from putting it under the Endangered Species Act, the ESA, at this time, because there are other species that are more threatened at risk of extinction. So the result of that ruling is that the sage-grouse went on a list that is a candidate for protection. What that basically means is the Wildlife Services will watch that every year, monitor that every year, and then they will make the determination if they should be put on the list. Currently, there's about 264 other species on this candidates list. They rank those as a 1 to 12, 1 being the highest priority and 12 being the lowest. The sage-grouse got a listing of 8. 3 days after the Wildlife Service made their ruling, Western Watersheds group from Idaho, which is an environmental group, sued them to make them put the sage-grouse under the Endangered Species Act listing. So what they're asking is that they immediately take the sage-grouse off the candidates list and put them on the listing of endangered species. So it's still an issue that we're monitoring and we're going to have to work on.
Well, and you bring up an excellent point, because, you know, a lot of these issues, a lot of us don't know are occurring, but that's exactly why we have organizations like NCBA, and I know you're a huge supporter of NCBA, of being a member, I should say, of NCBA. Tell folks why you think it's important for cattle people to be members of this organization.
Well, I'm a member because I can't be in Washington, D.C. monitoring all these issues. NCBA has an excellent staff that's in Washington, D.C. every day monitoring what's going on in Congress, as well as the regulatory agencies that have impacts over all our businesses and our outfits. So with that staff can do things and monitor things that members can't be there every day and do. So we pay them our dues, they monitor that, and then when they need help with us contacting our representatives and congressmen or agencies, we can do that. So it's a real team effort.
Now, earlier this year, there were some special incentives for becoming members. Are those still going on?
Yeah, they are until May 31st. Beringer Ingelheim has generously donated a 500 milliliter bottle of Sidectin to every new member, plus they will give a bottle to an existing member that recruits a new member. So it's a great opportunity, and the timing couldn't be better to become a new member NCBA.
Well, we appreciate all the work you're doing on behalf of all cattlemen across the country.
Well, thank you, Kevin. It's a pleasure to be here.
You bet. Join cattlemen like Bill as a member of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. It's easy to do. Just call us at 1-866-USA-BEEF or visit us at beefusa.org.